was a young boy, I dreamed of being a superhero. Someone who saved people and did it while being very cool. And in my dreams, I dreamt of being Batman. Because in my opinion, I viewed him to be the coolest and the best, and thus I wanted to be exactly like him. As I grew, the idea of being Batman seemed impossible, since it is. And as such, I replaced it with another goal. I replaced it with being the best. I wanted to be the best at everything, better than everyone, being the greatest man who was the greatest at every single thing. As I got into high school, I realized that this notion is impossible, since I don't have enough time in my life to achieve this. Becoming the best at everything is impossible. And even becoming the best at one thing will take my entire life. And as such, I narrowed my goals to things that I valued greatly and try to be as best as I could be at them, since I can't expect anything more than that. So my goals became becoming the nicest person, the one who helps others, the one who is a positive impact onto society. If you look at my kid story, you can see one defining aspect, and that's time. Time had a great effect on me. And when I say time, I mean time perception. And to better help understand what I mean by time perception, I'll give you an analogy. The difference between being asleep or being awake. Since technically we're awake 16 hours a day and are sleeping 8 hours a day. Now that's a 2-to-1 ratio, but it never feels like it. Our sleep literally feels like us being tired, going to bed, closing our eyes, watching a few second video, opening our eyes and no longer being tired. While the day can sometimes feel extremely long. So this is what I mean by time. And time perception affected my goals, since as a little kid, I didn't really understand time at all. I thought I could be anything, since I have as much time as I want in my life. And as I grew, I realized impossibilities, that no matter how long I live, I'll never actually achieve it. But instead, the notion of being the best at everything seemed achievable to me, since I believed I would have enough time to do that. As I went to high school, I got a better sense of time. I realized that everything is not achievable, and thus I picked goals that held value to me, and they became my priority, my life's priority. Now, many of the older generation can relate to this, since we all have been through this. Since when we're young, we view that we have a lot of time, and as such, we make risky goals or goals that are unachievable. But as we grow, we come to have a better appreciation of time. We learn that we don't have a lot of time on this earth, and as such, we pick goals that are very meaningful and try to achieve them. Now, as you can see, goal setting is affected greatly by time perception. But the thing is that it's not only goal setting. Our goals and how we achieve them are also affected by time perception, since making a goal is simple. Achieving it is the tricky part. And the way that time perception affects it is that many of us don't achieve our goals because we procrastinate, because we view that it'll take so long, it'll take too long, and we get worried. And so we'll put it off for another day that we'll actually like doing it. But the thing is, that day never comes, and as such, we never achieve it. Now, this is a problem that many face. And so do many of my friends. And they actually come and ask me advice so that I could possibly solve this problem for them. And so what I tell them is that instead of using time perception, as a deterrent. You should use it as a tool in order to achieve your goal. And so how you do this is by starting off small, making it look easy for yourself, something you could do every day, and bump it up little by little, very little by little. Make sure it's something you do every day, little by little, until after a while, or a year in this scenario, you're doing quite a bit. But to you, it'll seem like you're still doing a little, And through this trick, you can actually possibly achieve your goal. Now, many of my friends go and actually do this. But after a few months, they return. They say this helped in motivating them actually go and achieve their goal. But the problem was that after reaching somewhere in the middle, or in the beginning, they started to hate doing it. They detested it, especially since in the beginning they didn't like it that very much, and the more they did it, the more they hated it. And since they were doing it every day, after a while they couldn't stand it, and they just stopped going in all. And so, again, I tell them to use your time perception as a tool instead of a deterrent. This has to do with a law called the law of marginal diminishing utility, which is actually an economic concept, which basically states the more you consume something, the less satisfaction, additional satisfaction you will gain from each consumption, or in our case, the amount of time you do it. So they hated it in the beginning, and the more and more they did it, the longer and longer they did it, after a while, they couldn't even stand it. They couldn't motivate themselves to do it. So the way that we go about using our time perception for our benefit is, since it's our perception, it's what we perceive. And if we tell ourselves that it's actually taking not that long, that it's going by so fast, we'll actually feel like it is going so fast, and thus allows us to do it for a while. Now, the way you prove to yourself that it isn't taking that long is try to recount the actual moments, the exact moments while you were doing it. Try to recount the moments that I was actually talking. How much of it do you actually remember? How many seconds do you remember? How many seconds do you remember? And if you look at it, you'll see that it's actually a very short period. You only remember a short period. So the next time you're about to do something, just tell yourself, it's only gonna be that short period that you perceived. And as such, through that, you can motivate yourself to, instead of stopping around here, continue and actually achieve your goal.